So
program design, I think.
Hey, you got a minute?
yeah.
We got a minute on conferencing. And the reason you want to do conferencing, you want to sit one-on-one with a person, a teacher, and you want to give them feedback. And you want to make sure that they understand what the feedback is. You want some clarity. That's why you don't do it through email. That's why you don't send them a memo. Also, you want to be able to refine and reinforce exactly what they're doing. That's why you have a conference.
So I'm just going to outline the structure of a conference, because if you set it up right, you're bound to have a lot of success. So the first thing you need to think about is where you're going to hold the conference, okay? And you need to think about the nonverbals that are attached to where you're going to hold the conference.
So maybe sitting at a right angle instead of across from a table.
This is a perfect way. We have a perfect setup right now about how it should look like, okay? Second thing you're going to want to think about is there are two skills that you're going to need in that: paraphrasing and going visual. Third point. So you might want to have notes out here, or even better would be whatever you're going to refine, that how that is defined and what you're having them work on might be right out here for them to look at.
So that they can actually point to it. They're not attacking you, they're looking at this visual third point.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that would be the setup part one of the conference. The second part is there are only two things that you're really doing in a conference. One is, first, you're reinforcing the teacher for something they've done very well in their lesson.
Something you want them to do forever in their teaching career.
Exactly, and we call that reinforcement. But the second and most important part of the conference is the refinement part. And this is where you're actually teaching them, reviewing something that possibly you've done in PD, that's a school-wide initiative. You're reviewing this with them to make sure that they understand it.
So this is not new learning. This is something that you're going to try and change their behavior because it's not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the classroom.
Exactly. Say, for example, at my school, we were working on active participation. And I did an observation on this teacher, and I went in the classroom, and I did not see one piece of active participation.
Scary.
So during the conference, I would reinforce the teacher for something they did well, but the refinement part would be for us to review the definition of active participation, covert and overt, examples of, check for understanding with the teacher, and then the best part is I plan a time to go back in and watch them teach another lesson.
So you're doing two things really. One is you have to plan the teaching before you actually walk into the conference, and the second thing is you want a commitment from that teacher that they are going to change, which means you're going to put some pressure on that teacher.
Absolutely. I think the most important part to remember about conferencing is the autopsy of the lesson is not what we're doing. We're really planning for future instruction. So we're using that lesson as a touchstone to move to a new lesson because it's all about tomorrow's lesson.
And the outcome then is clarity of understanding of what's expected in the classroom, and then the need to change. And then you're going to make a commitment. You're going to say, I'm going to come back in another week or two because I want to see this.
Beautiful. The thing about that we know about learning is without that feedback, they're never going to get any better. They have no idea. Most teachers will say, I had no idea I wasn't doing it. So this is critical. Conferencing is critical, and we're glad that we have a good structure for it.
Absolutely. And that's conferencing.
And that was a minute.